My dear students, welcome to academic research. So, already I have completed lecture 1 and lecture 2 questions and answers on OJ 2020 possible questions and answers. So, now I like to start lecture 3 on OJ 2020 possible question and answers. I have already completed up to question number 50. So now I will start from question number 51. That is some more important question and answers are to complete all OJEE syllabus from all topics. So the first question is, that is question number 51. An electromagnet uses soft iron core, steel core, nickel core, copper core. Generally, an electromagnet is made by ferromagnetic material, that is soft iron. Soft iron is also belongs to ferromagnetic material. Therefore, answer A is the correct answer, because in electrical engineering, paramagnetic and diamagnetic material rarely used, but ferromagnetic material is used for electromagnet. Therefore, answer A is the correct answer. Question number 52. The range of a moving iron AC ammeter is extended by shunt multiplier changing the number of turns of operating coil, none of the above. So correct answer is A, that is shunt, because to increase the range, then you should understand how we will increase the range of an ammeter. So let us take a simple example. Suppose one ammeter is rated as 10 milliampere current. It means we can measure maximum 10 milliampere current by that ammeter. Suppose we want to measure 1 ampere current in that ammeter, then what we have to do? We have to connect one shunt so that the extra current will be bypassed through the shunt. Therefore, shunt means, already you know that is a resistance, that is a low resistance connected parallel with the meter circuit, that is called shunt. So correct answer is shunt. Next question, the average value of sinusoidal current is 100 ampere, its RMS value. So this is the average value. Already we know that average value of sinusoidal current is equal to 0.637 into maximum value. That is, it means this is equal to 100 ampere. Then we can easily find out the maximum value. The maximum value is 158 ampere. Therefore, RMS value, that is maximum value by root 2, that is 1.414, that is 111. So correct answer is D, that is 111. So next question, the main drawback of a DC shunt generator is that the terminal voltage drops considerable with load. Shunt field circuit has high resistance, generated voltage is small, it is expensive. So correct answer is A, that is when a DC shunt generator is connected to more and more load, the terminal voltage drops drastically. Therefore, DC generator generally not used because when will increase more and more load to a DC shunt generator, then the terminal voltage gradually decreases. So correct answer is A. So next question, which of the following generating plants has the minimum operating cost? That is hydroelectric power plants. So hydroelectric power plants is the correct answer because if we'll see steam plant, this is nothing but that is your thermal power plant, which uses the uh, then coal. Generally, to produce the electricity, it uses the coal. Then nuclear power plant. This is also uses the some fuel, that is your uranium, plutonium, like that. Then diesel plant, it also uses some fuel, that is diesel. But in case of hydroelectric power plant, no fuel is required. That is, we are using the water in free of cost. Therefore, only require its operating cost, right? Therefore, fuel cost is zero in case of hydroelectric power plant. So therefore, the minimum operating cost is hydroelectric power plant is correct. Next question, the relation among synchronous speed ns, rotor speed n, and slip s. We have to find out what is the relation between synchronous speed, rotor speed, and slip of a three-phase induction motor. So this question belongs to three-phase induction motor. So already we know that slip is equal to synchronous speed minus rotor speed divided by uh, ns minus n divided by ns, that is synchronous speed. So let us find this relationship, that is s is equal to ns minus n divided by ns, or we can say just you divide both sides, that is ns by ns, n by ns. So this ns can be divided by separating two terms, that is ns by ns is 1 minus n by ns. So here we have separated these two terms dividing ns. Therefore, n by ns is equal to 1 minus s. We have taken this term to this side, this will be plus, and s we have taken here, that is 1 minus s. Therefore, n is equal to 1 minus s into ns. So this is the correct relationship between slip, rotor speed, and synchronous speed. Correct answer B is the correct answer. Question number 57. A DC motor takes large current at starting because, so these are the possible answer. Armature resistance is high. The back EMF is low. Shunt field producing weak field. None of the above. So here the correct answer is the back EMF is low. So already we know that the current, that is armature current IA is equal to V minus EB by RA. So armature current IA is equal to V minus EB by RA. But during the starting, the back EMF is zero because the back EMF always depend upon speed of the motor. When its speed is high, the back EMF is high. When speed is low, the back EMF is low. Therefore, at the starting, the back EMF is almost zero. Therefore, starting current is very high. So DC motor takes large current at starting because back EMF is low. So answer B the correct answer. Here I have given the solution B minus CB by RA at starting EB is equal to 0. So armature current is high. So next question, the motor starter are essential for accelerating the motor, starting the motor, prevents excessive static current, prevents fuse blowing. Correct answer is it prevents excessive starting current. So the starter is not used for starting the motor. If we will not connect the starter, then also we can start the DC motor. But what happens at starting? It will take very high starting current so that motor may be burn out or damaged. Therefore, to prevent the excessive starting current, generally we are using the starter for starting the DC motor, that is your 3-point starter, 4-point starter, then series motor starter, etc. So next question, a compensating winding is an auxiliary winding embedded in slots in the pole faces of main poles, the armature, both pole faces and in armature. Correct answer is A, that is in the pole faces of the main pole. Generally, the compensating winding is used in the pole faces of the main pole to reduce the armature reaction, that is distortion effect of the armature reaction, and it is generally connected in series with the armature winding. So correct answer is A. So next question, the copper loss of a transformer at 0.5 load is 100 watts. What is the copper loss at full load? Let us find the solution. This is also very simple question. The copper loss at zero point 0.5 load is 100 watt. So copper loss at full load, that is 100 by zero point 0.5 square. So already I told you in the lecture 2 how to find out copper loss for half load, 1/4 load, then 3/4, 3 by 4 load. So here given copper loss at zero point 0.5 load, we have to calculate copper loss at full load. Therefore, at zero point 0.5 load is 100 watt, then copper loss at full load. So 100 by 1 by 2 square, that is 400 watt. So correct answer is 400 watt. Answer D is the correct answer. Question number 61. A transformer has leakage impedance of 1 plus J4 ohm and 3 plus J14 ohm for its primary and secondary winding. This transformer has LV primary, HV primary, insufficient data, medium voltage primary. So correct answer is A, that is LV primary. That means the low voltage side is primary winding. So from this we can easily find out which is low voltage side from leakage impedance. If leakage impedance here is low, therefore this is called low voltage side. Here leakage impedance is high, that is therefore it is called high voltage side. So therefore the correct answer is A. So next question, a DC shunt motor runs at 500 RPM at 220 volt. A resistance of 4.5 ohm is added in series with armature for speed control. The armature resistance is zero point 0.5 ohm. The current to stall the motor. What do you understand by current to stall the motor? It means at which current the motor will be stopped down. That is called stalling current. Stalling current means if we'll increase the load to a particular motor gradually, what happens? The speed will be gradually decreases, and at a particular load the speed the motor will come to stop. That is called stalling current. So stalling current means the load current at which motor will stop. It means if we will increase the load gradually at a particular load, motor will stop. When motor will stop, then what happens? The back EMF, already I told that the back EMF depend upon speed of the motor. If speed is high, back EMF high. If speed is low, back EMF low. At zero speed, it means when the motor is at stop condition, then back EMF is equal to zero. So stalling current V minus EB by RA plus R. So this is the formula for stalling current. That is P minus Cb by Ra plus R. This is the armature resistance and this is the field resistance. So back EMF is 0 P minus uh, 0 divided by Ra plus R, that is 220 by 4 plus 0.5, that is 44 ampere. So correct answer is 44. So this is also very simple problem, but it looking like very complicated. Just you understand or you have to remember this simple formula. The next question, the compensating winding is connected in parallel with armature, in series with armature, in series parallel with armature, none of the above. Correct answer is in series with armature because the compensating winding is used to reduce the distortion effect of armature reaction. When generally what happens? When we'll increase the load, then the armature reaction also increases. Therefore, to reduce that armature reaction, we will connect the compensating winding in series just in 180 degree out of phase so that the distortion effect will be nullified because it opposes the armature reaction. So correct answer is B. 64. The commutating winding is basically used in a DC machine to reduce the armature reaction to improve commutation. So correct answer is to improve commutation. Answer B is the correct answer. Next question, in a series RLC circuit. So this is your AC fundamental, that is series RLC circuit, that is resistance, inductance, capacitance are connected in series. Then what is the true statement or correct statement? So XL and XC. This is called inductive reactance. 2 pi FL and XC 1 by 2 pi FC are out of phase. So obviously this is correct, because XL and XC, if we'll see the phasor diagram of XL and XC, are 180 degree out of phase. Generally, we have taken XC in the upper side and XL in the lower side. Then VL and VC are 180 degree out of phase. This is also correct, because both the voltage in generally voltage in inductor is lagging, sorry, leading, and in capacitor lagging, therefore they are 180 degree out of phase. Applied voltage V will lead the circuit current I when XL is greater than XC. Yes, this is also correct, because when XL is greater than XC, it will be more inductive. More inductive means voltage leads and current lags, therefore voltage leads to the current. Therefore, this all of the above is true. So all are true. Correct answer is D, that is all of the above is true. Next question, at parallel resonance circuit impedance is minimum, power factor is 0, line current is maximum, and power factor is unit. Correct answer is power factor is unity. That is, at resonance condition, the circuit behaves as a pure resistive circuit. Therefore, in case of pure resistive circuit, what is the phase angle? That is 0. Therefore, power factor of cos 0 is equal to 1. Therefore, power factor is unity. Next question, LCR represents physical quantities, inductance, capacitor, resistance respectively. The combination which has dimension of frequency, that is 1 by RC, R by L, 1 by root of LC, so C by L. So correct answer is B and C, that is 1 by root LC. This is also resonant frequency, and R by L. This is also frequency. Therefore, answer B and C is the correct answer. So next question, reactive power in an AC circuit is measured by a wattmeter. Useful power consumed in the circuit, a liability on the AC circuit. Because the reactive power generally it is used for magnetizing the circuit. So more the reactive power, the automatically the active power decreases. Therefore, it is liability on the AC circuit. Answer D is the correct answer. The next question, the EMF induced in the transformer. statically induced EMF, dynamic induced EMF, both statically and dynamic induced EMF. None of the above. The correct answer, the EMF is called statically induced EMF because in a transformer, the uh, magnetic field is variable but conductor is stationary. Therefore, this EMF is called statically EMF. So, answer A is the correct answer. Next question. The total inductance of two coils connected in series with mutual inductance adding self-inductance is L1. With mutual inductance opposing self-inductance is L2. Then total inductance uh, is total mutual inductance is given by. This question somewhat is wrong. It means just changes. Then you have to adjust this question. The practical question is, what is the total mutual inductance? Uh, so here, in case of two inductance connected in series, in adding the L1 and with mutual inductance opposing self-inductance, that is L2. So the mutual inductance is given by, sorry, this question correct. This question is correct. There is no wrong in it. So the total inductance of two coils connected in series with mutual inductance adding self-inductance is L1, with mutual inductance opposing self-inductance uh, is L2. Here L2 must be in this part. So the somewhat printing mistake is there. So we have to find out what is the mutual inductance. So there is, this is also very simple question. So L1, there is a formula. This formula you have to understand. Sorry, you have to remember, that is L1 is equal to L dash plus L double dash plus 2M, and this is in case of adding mutual inductance, adding with mutual inductance, and this is case, the opposing case. So L2 is equal to L dash plus L double dash minus 2M. Therefore, L1 minus L2, uh, just we have um, differentiate, take the differentiation L1 minus L2, then this will be, these two will be cancelled, then this will be plus 2m, this minus sign will be, in case of this will be plus, therefore it will be total 4m. Therefore m is equal to L1 minus L2 by 4. Answer A is the correct answer. Next question, a flux of phi is equal to 1 milliweber passes a string having an area A is equal to 200 centimeters square and placed at an angle of 60 degree to the direction of uniform magnetic field. The value of magnetic flux density. This is also a very simple question, but it looks like very complicated. So this is also, that is phi is equal to BA cos phi, or flux density B is equal to phi by A cos phi. So here Phi is already given. Phi is already given. Therefore, B is equal to, we have to find out what is the flux density, that is phi by A cos phi, 1 into 10 to the power minus 3 divided by 200 to the power minus 4 into cos 30, that is 0.05 Tesla, 0.58 Tesla. So correct answer is D. So next question, hot bearing of a DC motor may be caused due to poor ventilation, incorrect voltage, loose coupling, lack of or dirty lubricant. So correct answer is uh, D, that is lack of or dirty lubricant. So poor hot bearing means that is the friction. When friction increases, then that situation is called hot bearing. It means due to shortage of lubricant, or lubricant becomes damaged or very dirty or poor lubricant. In that case, the heat generated in the bearing. So correct answer is D. Next question. Generally, motor used in to start a heavy load is series motor. So already we have discussed in the lecture 1. Then generally series motor used to start a heavy load because starting torque is very high, that is due to TA proportional to of Ia square, armature, the square of the armature current. The torque is proportional to square of the armature current. Therefore, starting torque is very high in case of a series motor. Therefore, series motor A is the correct answer. Next question. The material used in the commutator for separating two segments, mica, carbon, copper, none of the above. Correct answer is mica. Mica is the insulation or mecanite. In some cases, mecanite or mica is used for separating two commutator segments. There are so many commutator segments which are separated by one insulation layer, that is made by the mica. So correct answer A. Next question. The cumulative compound motors are used for variable speed, poor speed regulation, suddenly heavy loads for short duration. So correct answer is C, that is suddenly heavy loads for short duration, because in case of cumulative compound motor, so there are two windings are used. One is series winding and short winding. This is very helpful in case of short winding. Thank you very much for watching this video.